What's up, y'all? I'm JS Method. Y'all may know me as Coach JS. I'm a professional league coach. Today, we're talking about side laning from mid lane. A guide. It's kind of a mid to late game farming / macro guide. So we're going to talk about why we side lane, when we side lane, how different champs do it differently, and then kind of common mistakes we see. So first thing we're going to hop into is when and why. So generally speaking, the mid laner will start farming the side lane after your bot lane takes mid. So that's the rule. Once your ADC and support start going mid lane, you're kind of exiled to the side lanes. Now, technically, you're supposed to swap when like one of these tier 1 towers falls, or at 14 minutes when tower plates fall off, whatever one comes first. But since solo queue is chaotic and a lot of people don't know this and they don't know why, it does happen at different times, especially in low elo. Sometimes it doesn't happen until 20 minutes, right? If you're playing in high elo, right, you're playing like Master, Grandmaster Plus, sometimes it happens at like 10 minutes, right? So it kind of changes based off of the context of the people in the game and what's happening. But as a mid laner, all you have to know is when your bot lane goes mid, you have to farm the side lanes now. Now the question is, why is this a thing? Why does this work like this? Well, we actually want our bot lane to be mid. We want our bot lane to have access to mid lane. First of all, it's safer and easier for our ADC to get farm. Perfect. We want our ADC to be farmed. They're the ones who are going to be winning us fights. It's also easier and safer for them to rotate to the fight, right? So let's say the fight's happening on one of these objectives or it's happening mid lane. It's much easier for them to walk to these in a safe manner and provide the impact that they need to provide. Also, your support gets access to the map, and your support really wants access to the map so they can get vision wherever they want. They can move with the jungler, they can gank the side lanes, whatever. So we really do want our bot lane to be mid. Another benefit of being in the side lane is that a lot of mid laners actually like the side lane. Now, there's a couple that don't, and we're going to talk about that. So, there are kind of 3 different like archetypes of split pushers. And there's kind of like the really good split pushers. I call these the amazing side laners. They love to be in the side lane. If you're playing one of these champions and you're not spending most of your time in the side lane, then you're playing the macro incorrectly. These are your duelers, your really good duelers, your split pushers, you know, your Twisted Fates, Yasuo's, Yone's, Tryndamere's, all of these kind of champions. Then we have the good side laners, and the good side laners, these are your assassins and your burst mages. These guys really like the side lane because they can usually 1v1 the not great side laners, but even if they can't 1v1 who's in the side lane, they use it as a way to position into the fights because they really like to flank in. And then we have the third type, and these are the side laners that they do not like being in the side lane. They have low mobility, they really don't want to flank, they really want to front to back, they're not good in a 1v1, they don't push well, they have bad wave clear, all of these things. So these guys really don't like the side lane. The only time these guys are coming to the side lane is to catch a wave. So they're catching a wave and they're kind of going back to mid or wherever the fight's happening at. So let's talk a little bit about the different types in action. So the first type is the duelers, right? The duelers, the split pushers, whatever. These guys really like to force advantages, like man advantages, through the side laning. So I'm using Twisted Fate as my type 1 example. Twisted Fate, first of all, let's talk about where you side lane. So usually you side lane on the side of the objective, right? If Baron's up in 1 minute, I'll just write this down, 1 minute, and Dragon's not up for 4 minutes, then as the mid laner, assuming we don't have teleport, we're going to be farming in the lanes closest to the objective. So we can help with vision, we can help with all that kind of stuff. If we're down here, we're too far away from the team, we kind of just hurt our team. We hurt our chances of getting vision and priority for this. So you want to stay on the side of the objective. Now, if we're playing somebody like TF, or if you have teleport, you can go on the other side if you have teleport up, but usually that's your top laner. Anyways, using TF as the example here, we know we want to be on the top side. So we're going to kind of come into this top lane and we're going to push and we're going to stay pushing while our team is pushing. So we kind of match this tempo, right? This is what tempo is. I have a video on tempo. Feel free to go watch that if you want to know more about that specific concept. But as long as you're on tempo, you're going to be pushing up here as far as you can, and you're not going to move until they react to you, right? If they send a person to you, then the Twisted Fate's going to ult mid, then you get a free 5v4, you guys win this lane, and you win this lane. That's like perfect macro. Same thing for those other split pushers, right? If you're playing Yone, you're going to come to the side lane, you're going to start bashing on this tower until, you know, you win the 1v1, or maybe they send 2 to you. Maybe you even 1v2 them. And then if they send too many, you flank into the fight, get a good flank, win the fight because you have a good ult angle, and you're up a man. And then you just end the game through getting the objectives, right? So that's how the type 1s want to split push or side lane. These are your TFs, your Yasuos, your Yones, these kind of champions. Now, type 2, they're not quite as good at kind of breaking these towers or forcing these man advantages. They have really good mobility though, and they do have pretty decent 1v1 potential. And they really like to flank into the team fights. They really like to kind of, if the team fight's happening here, they want to come into it at like a side angle so they can hit a really good ult on the back line. So these are your burst mages, your assassins, your Annies, Aries, Lissandras, Fizzes, Zeds, Kianas. You're going to want to push up to this tower, and then instead of wasting time on this tower and sitting here not doing anything, you're going to flank into the interaction. So you're kind of just going to perma push, flank in, push, flank in, push, flank in. If there's not a flank opportunity, you're going to use your scanner. These guys always have scanner. Scan the jungle, so next time you push and flank, you know you're not on vision, easy kill, right? So type 3 of split pushers, or side laners, sorry. These are mid laners that really don't like the side lane. They're really only coming here to catch a wave. So that's why I put the Orianna as an example here, and I kind of put her at the tier 1 tower, because assuming you're blue side and you're pushing out this way, you'll never really go past this point, because then you're too vulnerable to ganks, and you don't really have good mobility, and you don't want to be in that fight, and you want to be front to back in the fight, mid lane, or at the objective anyways. So these guys, all they're going to do is catch the wave. They're going to catch the wave, and they're going to rotate back to mid lane or wherever the fight's happening. So if they only use side lane to farm, it's very scary for them to be there. I kind of visualize it by drawing a couple different lines. The type 3 guys are going to push up. They're never really going to step past the river too much. They're just going to push up the wave like this, and then they rotate back. This is type 3. The flankers are going to go to the next tower. They're going to go a little bit further, and then they're going to flank into the fight, right? Whether it's at the objective or whether it's mid lane. That's type 2. And then the first type 1, we're going to stay here until we force an advantage and then out-rotate them, right? So that's generally how we're going to handle the side lane as mid laners. I hope this answered some questions about mid and late game macro, when you're supposed to go get farm and that kind of thing. I hope you guys appreciate this video. If you guys have any ideas for tomorrow's video, I would really appreciate them. Drop them in the comments. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.